Welcome to the Ages of Rock podcast with your hosts Bill Algie, Dennis Talbot, and Alan Tate. We are three guys who have one thing in common, a love of rock and roll. Our goal is to talk about all things rock. We hope you find this show intriguing, funny, and occasionally highly opinionated. Enjoy! Hey folks, welcome to episode number 389, the first episode in 2025 because we're a bunch of lazy bastards. Either that or we're just really busy. Or both. Anyway, in this episode, we're going to rank in each of our orders the Kiss albums, Kiss through Creatures of the Night. We're not going to include Double Platinum or the live albums or the solo albums or anything on a compilation. And we have a special guest tonight, Craig Wright. He's a friend of mine. He and I went to high school together way back in the 1900s.
Yeah, sounds about right.
How you doing, Craig?
Good. How are you?
I'm old, fat, and sassy.
Right? I know how that feels.
But I'm not the oldest in this group.
No, that'd be the guy that couldn't figure out how to get here because he was taking a nap.
That's me. and I'm not the guy that has. I'm not the guy that has the 10 albums we're going to be talking about above his head. There you go. So,
yeah. So actually,
no, it has been a while. So we haven't done this since the first year, and we've been slacking, working, doing all kinds of stuff.
You don't have a Kiss item in your room. What are you even doing on this podcast? You're out of here.
Next to me, there is my that is my Kiss Worldwide Convention little collage that I have.
Oh, okay. So you have something.
That's Paul Stanley, and it's been signed.
Oh, by the way,
Gene Simmons has been signed. This lanyard from Nashville was signed by Eric Singer, and the one from Indianapolis was signed by was Eric.
Speaking of
or
that,
not Eric,
Dennis,
but
speaking of that,
Bruce.
Craig was at that event.
I sure was. I was there.
I ran into Craig at the Nashville.
I was in Nashville.
Okay.
At the Nashville convention. Yeah, I ran into him. I'm like, hey, dude.
Rod and I were just talking about that last night because I was driving back from, I already had tickets for the Indianapolis show. My wife had got them for me. Max was still a baby at that point. Because that was 90, it was 96.
It was 95.
Well, early 95, because he was born in November of 94. So he was still,
yeah.
So I remember the
Nashville convention was July 9th, 1995. And I can always remember that because it was exactly a year before my son was born.
Right. Because I was still working over in, where was it? Over in
Watchamadoodle?
Oh, it was in Oklahoma City, actually. And then when Max got RSV, and I had to come back from there. But it was around that time. But anyway, I was coming back from Birmingham from another job that I was on, and I was going through Nashville at the time, and the how was it? The radio station was giving away free tickets for the Kiss convention. And it was like, it was something about, it had a question. So who had the best answer for something about a Pam Anderson something or other? So I called in twice. Got in once, and they kind of laughed at my first answer. And then the second time I called in, they thought it was really funny. And they said, okay, you won. And then what's your name, blah, blah. So Rod and I go down there, and we get to Nashville. And on the thing that, hey, Rod, I won these tickets. So Rod and I went down there, and we got down there, and they were like, what do you, we won these tickets? From who? Who, what? So for like the first 10 minutes, we're in line waiting for this shit. We didn't even know if we even could go in because it was like, I have tickets. So we finally got tickets. But the funniest story about that whole thing was, Rod and I, we sat out in the car, and we were shotgunning beers and everything, and went in. It was pretty. We actually went into the hotel early that morning. I think it started like at 10 o'clock or noon or whatever it was. The convention started. And we sit in the hotel bar and we were drinking mixed drinks. But we got a good buzz on. And we were getting ready to go in, and Rod says, I'm going to take a leak. So I went over to the house phone at the hotel, and I'm standing there about half shit-faced, and I pick up the phone, and I said, it was a house phone. I said, can you connect me to Gene Simmons' room? And it said, hold on. And went click, and went burn. All of a sudden, there it is. Hello? And I went, is this Rod? And he goes, oh, no. I must have the wrong, but it was Gene. And I was like, oh my God, they gave me Gene's room. I was like going, that's the craziest shit ever. And I figured when they came down and did the answer question that they'd be like, yeah, some dumbass called me in my room earlier. And then hung up on me, whatever it
Some
was.
dumber ass gave
Yeah.
him the number.
Yeah, no shit. I was like going, who in the hell would do that? Anyway.
Well, the highlight of that one for me was probably getting to ask the question about Vinnie Vincent,
Right.
Yeah.
which that YouTube video has now got almost 500,000 views. So
Right.
that's my crowning achievement on the internet.
Which you say you have that whole one on, or does Craig
I
have
have
that
it on
one?
DVD somewhere.
Because
I
Rodney
think
was
you
saying,
sent it to me too.
because Rodney had to ask a question also. So he
Oh,
would
yeah?
he would like to know, he'd like to see that at some point if
Oh,
you ever
well,
get the whole, if
yeah,
you can get it to
well,
him.
I know I have it. I have
Okay.
to find it, but y'all have to
Sure.
remind me because I won't remember in a minute.
Sure. But he was saying, yeah, I remember I asked a question. I said, oh yeah, you did. I forgot about that. So it wasn't a good question, but it was a question.
Have we started recording yet?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm just, I'm
Well,
just curious.
since
This all of a
Bill
sudden, I'm like,
is ready to
Yeah.
get this shit show on the road.
no, I was just like, I don't remember if we actually started or not.
No, we did.
Yeah, we did.
But anyway, I was
So we're
Short-
going to rank,
short-term memory.
each of us are going to rank from number 10 to number 1. The
right.
Kiss makeup albums, essentially. And then after we get done ranking them, we're going to go back through, starting with the first album, and tell what our most favorite and least favorite. Stop doing that. Squirrel. Song on each album is.
You can't read it. It's too fast.
So, Craig, since you are our esteemed guest, what is your
Yeah.
number 10?
Well, number 10 should be probably everybody else's is The Elder.
Wrong.
Wrong.
Well, it's just
There is no way that
I'm gonna
that's
shake-
not
I'm gonna
number
shake-
10.
I'm gonna shake this shit up so hard it's gonna be fat. It's gonna be funny. Anyway.
You're just lying. You're just
well,
doing
my
that to get
number 9
attention.
is freaking, yeah. I just
I
just never connected with that album until the last 20 years. Back in the day, I don't even remember owning it.
Oh, I owned it because I thought it had a cool cover, and then you put it on, and it sounded like dog shit. So, I mean, it wasn't very good.
Right.
I didn't hear it for a long time. I mean, seriously,
It
I
was a
saw
gift
it,
from God.
and it took me years. I finally got it on CD, like maybe 15 years later. But anyway,
I mean, I don't hate it, but compared to the 10, it's hard to
right?
for me to rank them all.
It's different.
Difficult.
As if they've said and other people have said, it's not a good Kiss album, but a great Kiss album, but it's a good album.
Correct. I agree with that. I
Right.
agree.
Yeah.
Right. Now and I agree with that.
You're never ever going to get Bill to shake his head yes anytime that album is brought up.
Nope.
My first experience with that, someone gave it to me on cassette, and it was a recorded cassette, and it just had Kiss on it. So I didn't know what it was going to be. I just popped it in. I was like, this can't be Kiss.
Right. Yeah.
I do like 2 songs on it, but it's
But
only
then
because
Paul
I
started
have to.
singing, and I'm like, oh, this is definitely Kiss.
Right.
So, Bill, what's your number 10?
My number 10 is The Elder, go figure. My favorite track is the one where the intro
Well,
starts before
yeah.
the music.
Don't say that till afterwards. But anyway,
Oh, okay.
we're not going to do that till the end.
Oh, all right. Sorry.
We're gonna
I
do
didn't want
this
to I don't
first.
want to ruin it for anybody that's ever watched this show before and we talked about The Elder because it's the same
I know.
story.
Well, that's why we
Bill
keep
is-
bringing it up, because
Bill
we
is
like,
like
we like to
stoned.
see your face turn red.
Oh, my face isn't turning red. I'm just like,
Like my shirt. It's red.
Yeah. Dennis.
My number 10 is Dynasty.
bullshit.
Wow.
It says it right here on my little piece of paper.
Well,
So
it's
anyway.
wrong. It's wrong.
Don't be a hater,
No.
Bill.
And here is my reason for me not liking Dynasty. Yeah, like I said, there's good and bad on it, but me and my friend Matt were biggest Kiss fans from grade 4, almost was it grade 4 or 5 when we got into. Dynasty was the one that he just absolutely jumped shit and said, "Fuck these guys! I'm going into the Rush camp. I can't be a Kiss fan anymore." And maybe that's why. And it was a hard pill to swallow when it came out. And not that I don't dislike the album, some of the songs on it. It was a major departure, and I think just for the fact of my best friend, my cohort in the Kiss fandom part at that age jumped ship. Maybe that's why it kind of put a bad taste in my mouth. Anyway, but
We,
it is my number 10 today.
one thing about Dynasty, uh, there's a parallel with Dynasty and
Right,
Van Halen's 1984 album
right,
because everybody called 1984 a keyboard album, and there were two songs that were keyboard songs, the rest of them were guitar.
sure,
On Dynasty, in my opinion, there are two songs that are disco songs.
right,
You
Yep.
know, I Was
right,
Made for Loving You and Dirty Living. The rest of them are
right,
rock and pop songs.
right.
I won't say they're all rock songs, but
And I tell you the other thing
it's
about
not as
Dynasty.
disco as that was
Right.
accused of being.
The other thing about Dynasty that bothered me was the fact of that Kiss was that kind of scary black leather kind of stuff, and right behind you that's Love Gun, Alan, that was the Love Guns, and that's the
Right.
Live 2 kind of thing. The creatures, the outfits, the colors, I just everything about that whole tour album just kind of it was a shakeup for me. It made me go in a different direction too. So anyway,
All
but
right. My number 10 is Unmasked.
okay,
Now, I listen to the album about once a year, and every time I listen to it, most of the songs kind of grow on me a little more. So I'm at the point now I actually know the words to some of those songs.
right.
And Torpedo Girl and She's So European, I still just absolutely cannot get into those two songs. But the rest of them I can at least tolerate now.
Gotcha.
So sorry, Jason Herndon. All right, what do you got for number 9, Craig?
Well, I have the debut, Kiss.
Ooh,
There's something about the first two records with the sound quality I just can't get into. It's just because like I like the live versions or when they're played live, but something about the studio versions of some
Mhm.
of those songs just they don't match up. I can't get into it as much.
Now, have you heard
Yes, with that
wow.
Frankenkin his remasters.
no. I was not going there.
Okay.
They recorded a lot of those songs on the debut album before they recorded the debut album. And I think it may be called the Bell Studio demos or something.
Hmm.
I've
And
heard that
in
actually.
my opinion, those recordings should have been the debut album because they sounded a lot better.
Aren't some of those on here?
They probably
I
are.
think they are. I think this on the first
Yeah, I've got the box set with the little guitar case, and I've never
this is
played
the
any
sa-
of the
this is
CDs.
a cheaper version of that.
Yeah,
So yeah, it has the is the first one that Mercury put out. Yeah, it was,
yeah.
and there is some. You are correct on there. There's some better and worse versions of that stuff on that album or on that.
Yeah, I mean, there's great songs on there.
Right,
They just don't hold up on that record as well.
Yeah.
right.
I get what you're saying. What's your number 9, Bill?
My number 9 is actually Unmasked. Um, I like, yeah, that's it's one of those things that it was 8, 9, 8, 9, 8, 9, 8, 9, 10. And then I looked at the elder and went, oh no, it's 10, 10. Um, so it's, yeah, so it's 9. It's one of those records that was just, I don't know. We've covered that before on the show and we've picked through it, and it's one of those kind of things where you could pick a couple of songs off of it that are pretty good, and the rest of it's just kind of,
Yeah, well, we also know Kiss is notorious for chasing trends after the trend has
been gone.
it's going down off the
Yeah,
curve. You
Right.
know?
it's it's crashing fast.
Yeah.
Paul can't write fast enough.
Dennis.
All right, my 9 is the elder, and like I said, I'm just going to put that low because it doesn't set up to. Like I said, I don't hate that album. There's some good songs on that album, but like I said before, it is a good album. It's not a great Kiss album.
Right, right.
Um, but I have to put it at that point. Like I said, and it was one of those ones that I did not have until I remember going to California in 1980. Would it come out in 81, Elder?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was 1980, 86, 80, yeah, 86, I guess it was. I went to California and found it in a record store, a used record store, and they wanted like $90 for it. Because, like I said, back then, if you had a copy of it, it was worth a ton of money. And I was like, man, I've never even heard this before. And it wasn't until Bill, I think you loaned it to me at one point. That's the first time I actually listened to the album itself. Because I remember seeing it and I go, this can't be a Kiss album. This don't even look, it don't even look like a Kiss album. It don't smell like a Kiss album. I don't know what
It doesn't sound like
doesn't,
one.
doesn't sound like one either. But I mean, do I hate it as bad as Bill does? No. It has its own. I got my love for it, but it's just in a different way. It's not a Kiss song or a Kiss album. And to take what Craig said earlier, I agree with him on those early albums. They do sound really, really, really crappy. And I kind of had to take, because if I would have went like that, I would have did the same thing. I would have put the first couple ones down real low, but I took them for what the songs were. The written songs were, not how they sounded, because they can sound a lot better, and we've heard all
Oh, yeah,
those
yeah.
we've heard all those sounds. So I didn't take that in consideration. I went for the meat and the substance of each album itself.
Come on,
And
Gene. It's meat and potatoes.
but there's some good stuff on the album. There is some really, and that was that stuff that when I heard Elder and I heard like songs like Odyssey and stuff, that's where I said, Paul could do. He could do some Broadway. He could do some stuff like that, which, he ended up going before his voice went to shit. He was able to go do, Phantom of the Opera, which was, I wish I could have saw that. But anyway, but yeah, Elder is my number 9.
All right. I meant to say this before I started talking, but I do want to preface that most of my picks were made um, for the preferential order by the number of songs that I would not, or that I would hit the skip button and wouldn't listen.
Sure. That's kind of what I
So,
did. Yeah.
for those of you who are going to hate me because I put Love Gun as number 9, that is
Oh,
why.
oh,
That's
that
low.
hurts.
That's low.
Hey,
Wow.
I wasn't expecting it to
Wasn't
be the
seeing that.
guest.
Wow. That's
Wasn't
brutal. That's brutal.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Send all hate mail to GFY at
Wow.
Wow.
no, for me, the low point on that album is the cover of And She Kissed Me. That song just makes my skin crawl. I
We'll
don't
talk
know
about
why.
that later.
Yeah, we'll get to that part, I'm sure. And Tomorrow and Tonight. Yeah. The old saying, if you polish a turd, it's still a turd.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel that way about that song. But the high point on that album for me is it's Ace's first lead vocal on a studio album.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I mean, there was
Right.
that album in itself, it's been revered for years, but really the record as a whole is really not that great of a record. When you look at what came before it,
True.
I'm just not sure that it has the
Poor
the
Craig's
same
going to have a
level.
heart attack here.
Oh, that's okay. I mean, it's okay. That's why we're having a
Yeah.
conversation.
right.
It's a
It's
friendly
just because it has
conversation.
a sentimental value to me. That's
Right.
all.
It absolutely, yeah.
That's
Say,
like
everybody
everybody that sings the praises of Destroyer. That was a lot of people's introduction to Kiss, and
Yeah.
their
Craig,
sentimental
are
value
you gonna
is there.
Is Craig going to switch his order of his albums on his wall after we get done with this?
Well, I can.
Anyway,
All right, we're up to number 8 now. Craig.
Okay. Number 8 would be Hotter Than Hell for the same reason as the debut. It has some great songs on it. When I was doing my list, I looked at the songs, but I also looked at production and the cover and kind of the folklore around some of these albums, especially like or Hotter Than Hell with the photo shoots and all the craziness that happens. So I kind of looked at all of that. So that's just kind of how I gauged it. So number 8 is hotter than hell for me.
Well, this is where I'm supposed to gasp.
I'm surprised you're not having a heart attack.
No
To be
kidding.
Well,
honest, Alan.
I understand people's this. I won't say disdain, but dissatisfaction with that album.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the production was bad. I mean, there's not
Yeah.
as good. There's no question about it.
Yeah. So, Bill, what's your number 8?
My number 8 is Dynasty. That's
Well, at
those.
least it's down there low. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, I know. I just wanted to bust your balls a little bit because I haven't been able to do that for a while. So I
Okay.
thought, what the
There
hell?
you go.
So
My
yeah,
balls haven't been busted in a while, so I'm glad. Thank you.
yeah. And I do remember. I mean, I do remember going to that show, and I remember like, okay, they've like went from being gargoyles and
It's Liberace Kiss.
stuff to being this. Now it's this big. I don't know, the capes or something.
Yeah.
And it wasn't bad. It was just different. It wasn't. I liked the
Mm.
demonic gene and even though you saw the makeup and stuff like that, but
Terrible
it
boots.
became a little more caricature, cartoonish
Yeah.
kind of thing, which that's just the way it was. But from a live perspective, but that record for me was just it's an okay record. It's got a couple of good songs on it, but it's not one that
Mhm.
I listen to on a regular basis by any means.
How many plumbers wear capes?
How many plumbers wear
I'm a
capes?
I'm a
Ace
plumber.
is a plumber.
I'm a plumber.
Yeah, I'm a plumber.
And those boots, those fucking jean boots were terrible.
Awful.
Let's put like 10 pounds of tinfoil on your feet and just call them boots.
Oh, and you got like one toe. It's like the middle. It's like
It's
nasty.
it's fucking nasty. Go see a podiatrist.
It's like a snaggletooth or something. It's like
Snaggle
Have you
toe.
guys reviewed that interview?
Pardon?
Have you guys reviewed that interview, the Tom Snyder interview?
Don't
Dissect
think
it?
I've
we
seen it,
haven't.
for
We've
sure.
seen it, but I
No.
don't think we've ever talked about it.
that
No,
thing's a nut.
I
That thing's a
love
riot.
that. I love
Oh,
that.
It's
my
great.
gosh.
It's great.
Hi,
That's-
Mom.
It's fucking awesome. Gee, I wanted to know what the first 2 minutes after the thing was over with in
Oh,
the
yeah.
room. I want to be there, a fly on the wall, and see
Yeah.
Gene just
Absolutely.
fucking lose his shit.
Does anybody have the green room video from or green room audio from that?
Oh,
Because I'll bet there was a lot of F words
I
dropped.
would give anything to see that. You want to send me some bootleg shit? That's what I want to see.
Yeah, 100%.
I think everybody wants to see that.
Dennis, what's your number 8?
All right, so my number 8, and actually 7 and 8 switched at the very end. That's the one I was talking about. So I'm actually going unmasked on number 7. Now, I actually like Unmasked a lot, and and the reason I liked Unmasked is I like the fact that we're getting Anton Fig playing drums, basically on that whole album, except for was it Naked City or whatever it was. As soon as I write these notes and I cannot read my own writing. There's something else I liked about it, but I can't see it.
You sure know something was your favorite song.
Sure Know Something was a great album. I mean, it was a great song. I like
Sure
that
Know
a lot.
Something is on Dynasty.
That's on Dynasty. No. Yeah, you're
Sure,
right.
Sure
I
Know
just
Something
wanted
is
to
on
see if you
Dynasty.
see it.
No, I'm trying to. I'm
I
sitting
will
there going,
drive the
what
Newberg and fight you.
It's
No, I know.
true.
What is? What?
I just want
I
to see if
cannot-
I just want to see if I
Yeah,
get
Anton
Dennis to
Fig.
Oh, I know
Wait.
what it is. Unmasked. What did I say? Worst cover. Why didn't I? Is there a cover on that album?
It's all the cartoon
It's
characters.
like, yeah, it's the cartoon.
Oh, it
thing.
is. It's the worst. Yeah, it's what. There. Thank you. I just woke up from a nap. Yeah. For that album, it does have the worst cover of any Kiss album. Period. I mean, it's just to this day I still look at it and go, it's stupid. I mean, it's just a
You still think
dumb.
they stink?
What's that?
Do you still think they stink? That was
No,
one
I
of the
mean, and I
setups.
always thought that was stupid to do that. I mean, why would you want to doubt or
Right.
diss yourself on an album cover? I just thought that, I mean, I love the inserts. I love the poster that came with it. I thought that was a really cool poster. But I don't know. The album cover itself was bad. There's some great songs on there. I like those songs on there. And we'll talk about the songs here in a little bit. But it was me and 7 and 8 were going back and forth and Unmasked could have been one step higher, but another one just beat it out about 2 hours ago. So after listening to my number 7. All right, go ahead.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, my number 8 is the debut album. Um, the ending in Black Diamond pisses me off every fucking time I hear it, and I would much rather listen to the double platinum version.
Right.
But Kissin' Time and Love Theme for Kiss are good for what they are, but I don't think they belong on that album. And
Right.
the highlight of that album for me, I guess, is the fact that 7 of the 10 songs ended up on a live one.
Right. Did you go back and listen to that thing I told you about today? Was
Probably
it 4
not. I was
seconds?
busy.
At 4 seconds, there's that little.
No, I did not listen to that.
It's an early. I think it's Ace. He's coming in. He hits a. He
So
kind of
it's
dead
the
hits a
love
note.
so the people know he's talking about Love Theme for Kiss.
Yes, love theme for Kiss. If
Put
you
your
go in,
earbuds in.
is it 9 seconds or 4
I
seconds?
think you
I don't
said it
remember.
was 9 seconds in.
9 seconds
in
in.
your left ear.
Yeah, in your left ear, you hear, and it's like, and then all of a sudden it's like it's almost like a missed hit note, and then
It's
he
like when
comes
Alan
in.
plays bass.
Yeah,
He does that all the time now live.
right.
That was terrible.
Oh,
Woo.
see, I had Kiss One on a 8-track, and when you got to that end of that song, you couldn't fast forward it, and
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
and it was like
Oh,
I got to sit there and listen to this shit unless you hit a click through the
click
track.
to the next channel.
Oh God, it sucked. Yeah, I remember that.
All right,
I
Craig,
should have thought about that.
what's your number 7?
Number 7 is Unmasked.
Okay.
I mean, for all reasons you guys have already said. It's just, I mean, it's not a bad album. It's not a great album. It's just somewhere in the middle with all of these, in my opinion. So
It was Kiss Lost at that point.
yeah. I mean, I
they
think
were-
a lot of it had to do with the producer too, somewhat pulling strings.
Yeah, that could be.
Yep.
All right, Dennis. Not Dennis, Bill. You're
Bill.
number 7.
Number 7, Rock and Roll Over.
Ooh, man. God damn. It's low.
Jeez.
You guys gonna have a stroke? Are you guys all right?
You're killing me, Smalls.
I'm kind of choking on that one too. That's
Yeah,
higher
you'll
on my
choke on it.
list.
I'm not surprised you're choking on it at all. Actually, I'm a little
Wow.
bit surprised, to be honest.
Explain yourself, William.
Go ahead.
Well,
You
you know,
better.
so I mean, I like that, right? I like the record, but you've got to put them somewhere, right? So
Yeah.
when I was going
Yeah.
through there, that's kind
Right.
of where it ended up.
Well, you know,
Uh,
one of the things that Craig and I said when we started talking about doing this, it's like, this is like trying to pick your favorite child.
It
well,
is
and
hard.
tomorrow it might be different. I mean, it changed within 2 hours.
Yes.
So
And
I
I
mean, I
only
think
have
that-
one. And only have one kid. And when you can't choose him, what are you going to do?
You got a cat.
yeah, nine of
That,
nine of mine
that
had
cat will
options.
never be on the list. Trust me. I hate that.
I had
fuck.
9 records that had an option of changing positions. I had
I
one
know.
record that was
It's
going to be
tough.
that position no matter what.
It was tough. Yeah,
So it's all
it was
right.
tough.
All right, Dennis.
All right, so my 7 and 8 originally, like I said, it was going to go Unmask and then Creatures, but then Creatures beat it out. And the only reason I listened to Creatures all the way through a while ago, and problem is I have problems with 2 songs on that album, and you know which ones they are. I can't stand them. I can't take them anymore. I just fucking hate them. But
And I can guess.
it's yeah. But anyway, the Creatures, as far as that, the one thing it was the thing that gave Kiss that breath, a fresh breath of air. You know, after going through Dynasty and then going through Unmask and Elder and stuff, and then they come back and then they're just hitting on all cylinders at that point. You know, that's and I'm sure for Eric Carr it was great for him because his first album was Elder and he's like, what the fuck did I sign up for? And it's
Right.
bullshit. But I mean, they come out just absolutely just tearing it up. And I mean, and the thing is as much as I love that softer side of Gene, and Gene has a great voice, not being the demon, it was glad to hear Gene's voice back to being the demon type voice again. But like I said, I enjoy the softer side of Gene just as much in portions and in certain areas. But no, Creatures, and there's some great songs on there. But of course, War Machine's one of them that I mean, it's not that bad, but Love It Loud, I'd rather take a
That's
spike to
one
the
song,
head.
though. It's one
I
song
know,
on a.
but it's just so burnt out. I mean, I don't know.
Well,
It's
hell, if
just
that's the case, every one of them's burnt out.
well, I mean, it's like rock and roll all
For
night.
all
I
of
mean, if
us.
I don't ever hear that again, but it's one of those things where I don't know why it's kind of ate into my brain. Those are changers right off the bat. But Danger and some of those other songs. I mean, those are some great songs. Um, so yeah, after listening to Creatures, just for the fact of it. And I remember getting that. I bought that on cassette and kind of like this was my last chance. Come on, Kiss, give me something. And I put that thing in my car and I'm like, yeah, okay, you got me. Here's my money. Keep going. But anyway, so that's what switched that. So yeah, it's Creatures is number 7 for me.
Well, my number 7 is my introduction to Kiss, which was the Destroyer album.
Right.
And my babysitter gave it to me on either my 8th or my ninth birthday because she asked what I wanted. And I said the record with Beth on it because I was 8 or 9. you know? So she bought that Destroyer record for me. And I ranked it at number 7, mostly because, Beth, Detroit Rock City, Shout It Out Loud, A God of Thunder have been so overplayed on the radio, on classic rock stations
Right.
especially, and in concert,
Right.
because those have been a staple for
Staples.
almost the entire
Right.
reunion
Right.
or return to makeup tour, whatever you want to
Sure.
call it. So. And a highlight of that album for me, I think, is, you talk about Gene doing something different, Great Expectations. He's got that different vocal in there.
Sure.
And I really like how much of a departure that song is in particular from what Kiss sounds like.
Let's see it.
So what do you got for number 6, Craig?
Dress to Kill.
Hey.
Ooh, slow.
Yeah, it's just those first 3 albums. I didn't get into Kiss until the second 3 albums with Destroyer, Love Gun, Rock and Roll Over. So I backtracked when I back in the day in the 70s. So I just never bonded with those first 3 albums as I did. So that's out of the first 3, it ranks the highest for me. Does that count?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
And I think the producer, what Neil Bargart producing it was actually better than the other 2.
Right.
It had a more raw sound.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
Bill?
So we're doing number 6.
Mm-hmm.
Summer 6.
Number 6. I have Love Gun on my number 6.
That's
That
close.
was really where Destroyer is really where I first came into Kiss. So I would say, yeah. I mean, but for me, when I went back and looked at it, it's like it ended up 5th because when you look at the album overall, there's a couple of songs on there that I really could care less about.
Mhm.
People rave about Great Expectations, stuff like that. I'm like, that is not what I want to hear when I hear a
Mhm.
Kiss album.
No.
Yes, it's different. Yes, whatever, but it's just like, ugh.
Right.
So there's a couple things on there that I'm not big fans of, but yeah.
Right.
So it ended up number 6.
All right, Dennis.
All right. Number 6 for me was Destroyer. And I mean, we've already talked about that album a couple times here already. It was the first album that I did buy after hearing the day before, walking on a neighbor on an 8-track playing Hotter Than Hell off of a Live One. And I went to the store looking for a Live One after hearing most of that day. And then I went to it was P and Hearst department store in Tell City, and all they had was Destroyer, so I bought that. So yeah, I listened to the shit out of that album, but
You didn't
looking
get a live
back,
one.
what's that?
So you didn't get a live one.
I got it for Christmas, so I did get it for
Yeah.
Christmas right afterwards. So it was
But
it was my
they
second
didn't
one.
even sound the same. Yeah, at
No,
all the
no,
same.
no.
Yeah, it's like you
Because it was
said,
kind of
yeah.
weird because it is. I mean, it is such a departure from that. It's such a polished. Because Bob Ezrin came in and made it this epic, big sounding album, which didn't sound anything like the first three albums. As we talked about the low quality and low production on all those albums. Um, and the thing is I'm like you too with you guys. Those as a whole. If I don't hear Beth again, I never liked it when I heard it for the first time, and if I never hear Beth again, I'm not going to be upset about it. What was it
Playing
Rock
it
and
at your
Roll?
funeral.
Right, Rock and Roll Party at the end is a complete waste of a track where they could have put something else in there. That's just a bunch of bullshit. As a kid, Great Expectations did nothing for me. I did appreciate it when they did it with the orchestra on the symphony situation. I liked that a
Yeah.
lot. Um, and Sweet Pain was never a really good song. So once you get down to it, I mean, other than Rock and Roll All Night, or not Rock and Roll All Night, but Detroit Rock City, King of the Nighttime World, and Shout It Out Loud, and Do You Love Me, the rest of the album, I mean, I like four songs off that album. That's it. But it
Yep.
does hold a special place with me being my first album, but it's not in my number one position. It's in number six. So there you go. It's got
Which
a
I
cool cover.
which I
Cool
think is
cover.
very interesting because that's the one that, they always kept trying to remake that record. That's what they was, oh, we're going to make
Yeah,
the
and
next
that's not your and
Destroyer. We're
that's
going to
and
make the
that's not
next
your it's
Destroyer.
not
And I'm
your
like,
best album.
don't remake that record.
Yeah,
There's a bunch of other ones you can remake. That
yeah,
ain't
no
one.
shit. I don't think I don't. I actually on my way home last night we were talking about stuff and I said something about yeah I said we're going to stop it. She asked what we're going to and I said well that and I said and actually and then we started. I mentioned something about Carnival of Souls and she said I never heard anything off her. So I played a couple songs off my phone on the way home and she goes, "Oh my God, those songs are really good." And I'm like going, "Yeah." And no, I said we didn't hear them for what almost 20 years. We heard bootlegs of them, and I said, and they never toured it. And she's like, "Well, that's some good music." And I said, "Yeah, it's really good music." But people, as on a whole, people fucking, Kiss won't even acknowledge that album. It's Bruce's album. Blah blah blah. So
Fortunately,
anyway,
we never hear any of that live.
yeah, that's sad too. Well,
Very sad.
Paul couldn't
Well,
sing it if he
unless
had to.
unless you
So
see one of the Bruce Kulick's ensembles do it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
have Tall Stanley out there singing it.
Yeah. Well, I saw that on the cruise.
I know.
Yeah.
That was some pretty cool stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
Bruce sang his own song. That was really cool.
Yeah,
I
I
Walk
like that song
Alone.
too. It's a
Yeah.
good song.
Yeah.
All right.
All
Back
right, my
to
number six is Dress to Kill. Now we're getting up to the point where this is
it's
really how do you pick your favorite child?
right.
Yeah.
You
It
know,
is
because the production on Dress to Kill is really it's the best production out of the first three studio albums.
true. I'll give you that.
This is one that my Aunt Cindy, my dad's baby sister, gave me sometime in the mid 80s. And this one's got four songs on a live one, and I can't say that there's any songs I really don't like on that album. I can
Mhm.
tell you there are songs that I'm tired of hearing, or there's a song I'm
Agree.
tired of hearing.
Agree.
I
Agree.
think that's the case
And
with
I
all
think
of it, right?
everybody that is listening to this episode is saying, "Yep."
Yep. Yep.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah. So, Craig, what's your number five?
My number five is probably my second favorite album cover. It's the first one I ever bought with my own money, and that was Dynasty.
Right on.
Okay. Okay.
So there's something about that cover that I love. Of course, there's some big songs on it, and I don't know. I just really like that parts of that record. I really like.
Well,
All right.
I said something a while ago. I just remembered that poster actually was the Dynasty poster I liked. The one that they had where they looked like they were wearing
Straight jackets.
yeah. That
Yeah.
wasn't the
Yeah, that
Unmasked
was
had
the
the
Dynasty.
one of the big color. Yeah. Forgive me. Somebody's gonna say that later, but no. So the only thing good about that album was the poster. Anyway,
I still have it. It's upstairs, but it's got tape things on it
Yeah,
where I
mine-
taped it together back together. It's like
Yeah,
the
mine are-
stuff that we taped and tacked onto our walls when we were teenagers.
we used our
Gosh.
shit
If we
though.
knew what it was going to be worth, in 40 years.
We used it back
Yeah.
then. So
Bill,
was
what's
why I
your
didn't-
number five?
My number five is Destroyer. Um,
Hmm.
even though my number 5 that has my favorite Kiss song on it,
Right.
which is "Do You Love Me." That that for me was I like it's out of the 10, it was just like to me it was the middle. It was I like it pretty well, but it's I don't know.
Yep.
There were some songs on there that I really like. Great Expectations. I just like, yeah,
Right.
God, I just couldn't.
Right.
I just not my thing. I didn't like it at all. But it had two. I mean, King of the Nighttime World is one of my favorite songs. So it's got a place, and it gets
Right.
a little bump because of the "Do You Love Me" on there.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Dennis.
Okay, so I'm gonna number 5. Like you said, now we're just like just tit for tat at this point. So they have to go somewhere. So I'm gonna say Love Gun. Love Gun is my number 5. And I don't really have any reason to put it there. It's just I didn't like a Destroyer as well, and I don't know. It's just number 5 because I have it. My upper ones. It has a reason, and it's like we talked earlier. There's some stuff that are set in stone with me and Kiss, and that's just the way it is. So Love Gun just fell into number 5. How's that?
Yeah, that's good enough reason.
Yeah,
My number 5.
another good cover though. I like
Yeah.
the cover.
Yeah.
My number 5 is Dynasty. Um, I wish they would have let me pick the playlist order because it would not have started with I Was Made for Loving You. It would have started with Charisma, followed by
Mhm.
Magic Touch, followed by Hard Times. But yeah, that's I already said a little bit about it earlier. It's not the
Right.
disco album that it's accused of being.
No,
No,
Some
I
of those
agree.
songs are pretty cool. Hopefully we'll get to see Gene perform Charisma
right.
in Beaver Dam. Are you going to that Beaver Dam show, Craig?
I don't even remember hearing anything about it, but I might now.
It's the
Yeah.
first show of the year at Beaver Dam. We're
Yeah.
Okay.
Alan and
That
I
the
are
Beaver
going.
Dam Amphitheater.
You can get tickets for $25 a piece.
Not
Now
not
you're
not
talking.
not when I got them.
But you can now. I mean, like
Oh, probably.
there was a been a promo going on. I think it runs
Right.
out the 14th. It's a
Better
God,
hurry.
Valentine's Day thing.
Gotcha.
That's Valentine's Day.
That too.
Are
That's
you gonna
also
go
my
out?
wedding
Are you going, Bill, or
anniversary.
not? Are you guys? You're going out. You got something going on that weekend, don't you?
Yeah, but he's coming to Brown County, and I'll wait and get a
That's right.
ticket
You're
for like
gonna make the run.
$5.
Okay.
The tickets
All
are ridiculous up here for him.
Oh,
It's insane.
dude, you want to get off? Can we get off the subject for 1 second? Kelly mentioned the other day. She says, that Metallica's coming to Nissan Stadium down in Nashville, and I went, yeah. When we went, all they got now is second. Of course, it's second tier, not second tier, but
Secondhand.
second market tickets. Cheapest thing I could find is $240 something per ticket. And that's for the real high shit. To get anything in that first level around the stadium, you're talking cheapest I found was 500, and they go up to $900. That's bullshit, dude. I am not.
ridiculous.
I'm
People
not
keep
doing
paying
that.
it,
I'm
so
not doing it. Not doing it. I said no. I said it doesn't matter to me because I'm not a big Metallica fan. But anyway, but yeah, it's become ridiculous.
all right, back on topic.
Yep. Sorry.
Number 4, Craig.
Creatures of the Night. Yeah.
All right.
Boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom.
Great cover, great production, great sound. I agree with you guys. There's two songs I could never hear again and be okay with it.
There you
So, but yeah,
I would really be interested to see if y'all's two songs was the same because I know what Dennis's are.
Yep.
We'll
I
talk
love
about that when we get to the
Wild
songs. How's that?
Yeah.
Okay.
We get to the
Okay.
we'll get to that. I think they're going to be probably on same.
I say yeah.
All right, Bill, you're number 4.
Number 4, Creatures of the Night. No. Yep, that's it. Number 4. That is true. That's what I got.
Yeah.
I like almost everything on that record.
Did it hit you like it did me as far as like it was just kind of a oh my God, they're back kind of thing?
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
that. It's kind of funny. That record for me was a defining moment, and so was Revenge.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
Mhm.
So there was these two distinct, things. It's like, oh my God,
Right.
that for me was that album for me was oh my God, and Revenge was like, oh my God.
Monster wasn't that for that? For that?
Uh, No, no, Sonic Boom. It was Sonic Boom because it
Sonic
sounded just like Destroyer. It was sound. That was the one that. No, that didn't really sound like Destroyer either.
I had to throw that in there.
Although
I
that's what.
didn't. I didn't realize we were doing 19 and 20.
No,
There you
I had
go.
to throw it in there because
There you
it's
go.
yeah.
Is it? Do they
I
even
think
get
we
it?
all agree on those final two.
They would be under the elder for sure. Bill, would it be under the elder?
No. I would
Oh my
take
God.
Psycho. I would take both of those over over the Elder.
Wow, that's pretty bad.
The Elder is dead freaking last. Like the lint on the needle.
He's
Wow.
like, I will
Last.
take the songs off of Smashes, Thrashes, and Hits first.
Oh,
Let's put the X and Sex, baby. Let's go. I'll take that.
wow. All
All
right.
right. Dennis, you're number 4.
Number 4 is the original Kiss album, and really can't say nothing bad about it. Like I said, these top 4 are, if you ask me at any time, these are all going to be. I am a diehard early Kiss person, so there's only one in here that's past the Destroyer session, but everything is those first 3 albums are just fantastic, and it's not for the quality. Like I said, not the quality of the album, it's the it's what's on those albums. And
I
like I
agree.
said, the bulk of those songs, I mean, there's some shitter songs on those album. Of course there are. There's shitter songs on every album, but those are the ones that, a live one to me is that's the ultimate, and that's what I was kind of weaned on. That's what, as a Kiss fan, that's kind of the holy grail kind of situation, and all those songs come from those 3 albums, basically. Basically. So anyway, Kiss is a great album, but I had that originally, like I said, on 8-track, and I agree with Alan. That last fucking song is just like boom, shh, boom, ah, bullshit. Just
One of
gets
the
over.
radio stations that I used to DJ on,
Did they actually play it?
that the dude, when the he would do the concept things, and that
Sure.
he would play that song at least once a month, and he always played that version,
Oh
and
my
I was like,
God.
will you please play the other one? He's like, no. I'm like, well, I'm turning your show off.
Yeah, it's very long, but yeah, that's number 4 for me.
All right,
Let me
my
give
number 4 is what I call a total departure for Kiss being Kiss, and Music from the Elder is my number 4.
Ooh, it's high on the list.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's always been high on my
Yeah,
list.
good.
I like the fact that they tried to make a concept album, even though Bob Ezrin was coked out of his mind during the whole thing. And I'm sure that's why a lot
Sure.
of these songs turned out the way they did. But I do like those songs. Um, Operatic Kiss. How
Yep.
could you not like that, Bill? I just don't understand.
Yeah.
I kid. What's your
Oh, it's
number
all right.
3, Craig?
Number 3 would be Destroyer.
Okay.
So, I
Consider
mean, just because of everything you guys said, I mean, it's a great album, but when you look at it in the entire catalog, it's kind of in some categories just like The Elder or Carnival of Souls. It's kind of its own thing. It doesn't really, you can place a lot of these albums and they all mix well together, and you could put tracks from certain albums all in one album and make a cohesive album. With that one and a couple of the others, you can't. It stands alone.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
it
Yeah,
does.
true. It does make sense, actually.
Something just popped into my head, because I saw somebody had posted something a while back that said, if you could listen to one album for the first time again, what would it be? And conceptually, it would be kind of neat to listen to these 10 albums for the first time and then pick right there on the spot which one you thought was the best, which and
Right.
worst.
Yeah.
Ooh, that'd be hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Be
Because,
interesting.
Craig, you were talking about conceptually with the Destroyer and everything, and that made that pop into my head just now. So that's where that squirrel moment come from.
It'd be hard to listen
What?
to those first 2 albums because just of the production. Now, being as what we've heard and what can be done,
Right.
we would I mean, there's garage demos that are 10 times better than
Right. The recording technology is so much better now.
That's what I'm saying. It's
You
I can do
know.
shit in my house that's 10 times better than that.
Right. And if somebody says, introduce me to Kiss, Destroyer is not the album I would go to.
No,
Do you know what I
no,
mean?
exactly.
Absolutely. All right, Dennis or Bill,
Yep.
Bill.
what's your next? We're number
Where
three,
we at?
correct?
We're at
We're on
number
number three.
Three.
right?
I've lost track myself.
Yep. Number 3, I have Hotter Than Hell. So this is not going to be a surprise finish
No,
for the last 3.
right.
I just, I think that was for me, Hotter Than Hell was really the last record that I think they weren't trying to do some conceptual kind of thing, or it just, to me, it felt still like a bunch of a band that was still trying to figure out how to get their feet wet and continue on. That was the third in a series of one a year, right?
No,
Uh,
Hotter Than Hell was their second album.
Right.
Second album. Okay. Well,
But they
it's
sound
okay.
like demos. They sound like demos.
But yeah, they
I
sound
mean,
like
they're
demos.
they're kind of
Yeah.
yeah.
So I think it's that one's pretty muddy to me from a
Right.
production perspective, but when I look at the songs on that record, there's some really great stuff on there.
Oh,
Yeah.
So, and that's when I start looking, and that's when I did my list is like, okay, if I'm going to pick on these albums, which albums am I picking that have, if you're going to give somebody a Kiss record to listen to that's not
Right.
a live record, what are the ones you're going to give them, and what's going to make the most impact? And for me, that was not sound quality wise, but song wise.
Yeah.
Right.
That's how it ended up there.
Right.
All right, Dennis.
So I'm gonna piggyback with Bill on that one too. Hotter Than Hell was my number 3. Hotter Than Hell was an album that I did not purchase. Oh my God.
Yeah, the same thing. I
Till
didn't
the
buy it for a
90 till
long
the
time.
90
Yeah.
till the 90s or something like that. Because the biggest hits on that album were on on Alive. Of course, Parasite's one of my favorite songs, period. Um, and then the few songs that were on there. Matter of fact, what was Coming Home? Well, I tell you what, it was after the because Coming Home to me was like a new song. When they started
From the
doing
conventions,
On
yeah.
the
conventions,
impressions.
Yeah.
I was like, where in the fuck's this song from? This is pretty cool. And somebody said, that's off Hotter Than Hell. I said, well, I don't own that album. So that was to me, that was a new song. So yeah, I mean, Hotter Than Hell was something that I didn't pick up. Actually, I think I found an originals, and that's the first time I actually heard it was when I finally found me an originals copy, or not a copy, but a copy of the originals. And then I ended up going, over time, I've went and rebought the whole catalog. But anyway, but yeah, Hotter Than Hell was probably the last Kiss album that I had bought on vinyl, and the one that I own. So, but the cover was always kind of weird looking. Always kind of thought that shit where it looks kind of
Yeah.
it just looks kind of freaky, and and where Peter's grabbing his arm, it looks like a tit, and I mean, just it's just weird. I mean, and then
Drugs and alcohol may have been.
yeah, and the back cover, it's just a fucking mess. But the song list on there, oh my God! I mean, that's a solid album. So yeah, but for me, it's number 3. So anyway, there you go.
Well, my number 3 is Creatures of the Night, and that, like a lot of other people, when that album come out, you could tell Kiss was back to being what Kiss conceptually should be.
Right.
But when you hit play on that or you drop the needle on that and you get that heavy drum fill thing, it's like a boxer beating the shit out of a boxing bag.
Right.
That's how I felt, And there's not a song on that I really dislike. Of course, there are songs, and I'm not on Team Dennis and Team Craig here for the songs that I like the least on that album, but there are a
Right.
couple of songs that I can hit skip on.
Right. That's a lot of those albums.
Yeah. All right, we're up to the final 2 picks.
Final 2.
All right. Well, my number 1 and 2 kept flipping back and forth all day today. So my number 2 is Love Gun.
Okay.
So Well, I mean, it's the first time that Ace sang lead vocal, and
Mhm.
back in the day, Ace was my guy back then. He was the one that I was most drawn to, and I don't know why, but I was. So when he got to sing lead vocal, that something about that, I don't know. I liked it. Every guy had their song, so I
Right.
thought it was kind of cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree.
I give it up.
Bill.
Bill.
My number two is Dress to Kill. And it's
Close.
number two because I have a T-shirt that's back and front of Dress to Kill,
I
which is
love
really
that.
cool.
I know I had one. I
T-shirts are
wore it
awesome.
out.
I love
I
that
wore it
T-shirt.
out. I gotta find
One of
another
my
one.
favorite. It's my favorite.
If you ever
One of my
find another
favorites.
one in a 2X,
I
buy
will
it. I'll
sell
pay
it
you
to you
for it.
for $500. Anyway,
I'll pay for
um,
But you got to
but
pay with your Kiss credit card.
it. Yeah.
exactly. Um, again, it's one of those. It's one of those albums that's part of the three that when you put the first three together,
Right.
it's just
It's the Triple Crown.
yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, I would like it'd be interesting to see them go back and to be able to go back and hear what those would have sounded like with good production and not kind of everything
Right.
sounded muddy. I mean, it just
But
I
but
felt
that one there had Dress to Kill had the better production of the three. I
Yes,
mean,
yes,
yeah, it did,
it
but
was. I
still
mean,
it
it's
was
night and day
Absolutely.
difference between the
yeah
three. That one's a night and day difference.
yeah.
I think
What
that's the
was it?
first one they actually had money to go into the studio, maybe.
Sure.
Yeah.
Or they had barely enough money to go into the studio
Right.
because they were still some broke some bitches.
Yeah.
Yeah. But interestingly, well, we'll talk about least favorites and
Yeah. Okay.
favorite songs
Yeah.
on the
I
records
know
here in a
it's
bit.
kind
But
of hard not to,
Right. I know I don't
yeah,
want to
I mean,
spout
because
off,
that's
but
all in my notes.
yeah,
me too.
yeah,
Well, my
for sure.
number two is Rock and Roll Over. Again, the I really like the production on that album. I like every song on that album. And I think that's the one where they might have recorded the drums like in the bathroom in a stadium or
yes, it
something,
is. Yeah, that's it.
But I really like how the sound that those drums sound on that whole album.
And actually, Rock and Roll, you skipped me, Alan. Actually, Rock and Roll Over is my number two also.
I was
So,
just speaking for you. Now I'm speaking
oh,
for me. Rock and roll. No.
but it was actually, it was recorded in a theater somewhere, wasn't it? A small theater.
Yeah, something like
And
that.
then
Yeah.
you said the drums were different. And I think that even Ace used like a little Fender twin, little bitty amp
A
and
Fender
just,
reverb or
yeah. And
something.
just kind of
Yeah.
fucking just rocking it out, sounding, but anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm Rock and Roll Over is my second too. So.
Well, sorry to step on your dick
That's
there,
okay.
Dennis.
No, you didn't hurt yourself. Trust me.
Uh,
You didn't even stumble, did you?
There wasn't any tripping going on there.
That's what I'm saying. He didn't even stumble.
all right. Craig, what's your number one?
My number one is Rock and Roll Over.
There you go.
Woohoo!
All right.
The production, the writing, everything about that record works, and it still sounds fresh and new to me. I don't know why. It just all works. It's
Got a
straight up
cool
rock
cover
and
too.
roll.
Cool
Yeah.
cover.
Yep. Cool cover. And it doesn't get the accolades that Destroyer or Love Gun gets, in my opinion, for the
No.
cover alone.
No, it's
Yeah.
true.
Oh, speaking of the cover, I was going to mention when I said, Rock and Roll Over was my number two.
Right.
That is my favorite Kiss album cover.
Yeah. It's cool.
Is
It's
it?
cool. It's very cool. It's very
Yeah.
It
iconic.
is. It is.
Yeah. So, Bill, what's your number one?
My number one is the first Kiss record, and that goes back to just what's stacked up there in that most of those songs on there.
Right.
Now, there's a couple of songs that obviously that yeah they probably could have done without, but for the
Right.
most part, that's when I think of Kiss and I tell somebody what they want to listen to, I'm going to share with them some of those songs. I mean, most of the songs that are on that record.
Right.
So that for me that was it. Yep.
Cool.
Dennis, I won't skip you this time.
All right. Mine was, of course, Dress to Kill. I mean, great T-shirt. We've already talked about that. Um, of the three like I said, of the three first albums, it's got the best quality. Gene's bass playing on that album is phenomenal. I mean, Gene is a bass player. I don't care what fucking people say about shit. He can be and is a good bass player. Some great songs on there. Like I said, Rock and Roll All Night. If I didn't hear it again, I wouldn't give a shit, much less. And it's on the end of the album, so that, I can just skip that, go on, be done. But some great songs on there, and yeah, great deal.
Now you're talking about the Gene's bass playing on that album. Remember the Rockin' Pod? I don't remember which year it was, but it was the year that we did Room Service. I played
Right,
bass on that one.
right.
That song was really fun to play on bass.
It's
Yeah,
it's really good. He's a great bass player.
yeah. I haven't really. I mean, obviously, everybody that's a Kiss fan that plays bass has played Rock and Roll All Night at least
Right.
once, and that's
Yep.
another. Actually, that's a fun bass line to play
Right.
too. Yeah. But all right, my number one, no surprise to anyone that's ever listened to this show, Hotter Than Hell.
Right.
Um,
Knew that.
you know, I think I was probably 15 or 16 years old, and I'd gone into the local Salvation Army and found Hotter Than Hell on 8-track. Well,
Mm.
I would have had to have been 16 because I had my car and it had an 8-track player in it. But I found it Hotter Than Hell on 8-track for 50 cents. So I borrowed
What
50
a
cents
steal.
from my mom to get this thing, and I could not get home to get into my car fast enough to play it. I had never
Yeah.
heard any of these songs that I was aware of,
Wow.
except for what was on Alive,
Right.
which actually half of this album is on Alive 1.
Oh yeah.
But,
Yep.
the stuff that wasn't on there, All the Way, Mainline, and Strange Ways, that's some banger stuff. I like
Yep.
Strange Ways so much. My old band recorded it on a tribute album.
Yep.
Hey, Alan, I don't know that I know this or not. What was the first year you saw them live? What tour?
The Crazy Nights tour
Same.
with Ted and
Because
Nugget.
my parents would not take me, so I was
Same
able
deal.
to drive myself. So that's what
Right.
Crazy Nights was the first tour I ever saw.
That was the very first concert I ever attended ever in my life.
Oh, Motley
Yeah.
Crue Theater of Pain was my first.
I really, really wanted to go to that show.
So deprived. You kids were so deprived.
Yeah.
Well, I only
We
got to see
were.
Creatures was my first. Well, actually, it was Lick It Up. Well, it was with Vinny, so it'd been Lick It Up.
Well, it
tour,
could
I
have
guess.
been either one of them because he was on both tours.
Yeah, it was Lick It Up. But they were
That
still in
was the
makeup.
first time?
That was Vinny's first show was Accept
If they
and
were still in
Kiss.
makeup, that was
They
the
weren't in
Creatures
makeup
tour.
on that tour.
No, I take that back. It wasn't. I didn't see him in makeup until the reunion tour. That was when they were. Robert Stadium was Vinny's last show. That was my first.
Yeah, that
Kiss
was
concert.
Lick It Up. That wasn't.
Yeah, that was my first. That was my first show with them because I
Yeah.
saw, and I was actually more. Accept blew me away more than Kiss did. To be honest, I went out the next day and bought Balls to the Wall because it was like, oh my god, these guys are great.
And
Yep.
and now you probably can't stand that song.
Actually, I'll listen to
I
that
like that
before I
record. I
listen to
love that
some
record.
other.
Well,
I will.
Yeah.
But that particular song is their big hit.
But
It's kind
I'll
of like
listen to
Rock
it
and Roll
before I
Over
listen to
or
some
Rock and
Kiss
Roll All
songs.
Night and get
And I'll
tired of
listen to
hearing
that.
it.
And I get tired of the Kiss song. I'll
Yeah.
listen to that. So,
All right, so
all
there
right,
y'all go. Tell us what your top 10 makeup Kiss albums, blah blah blah.
all right.
Let's start with
Good
the
and bad.
first.
Let's go
Yeah, we'll
from
just go straight down the
Kiss to
list.
yeah.
Kiss 1974. Craig, what's your favorite and least favorite?
Ooh,
I know.
least favorite would be, love theme from Kiss. Nothing to lose. I really like that track.
Good song. Nothing
Yeah,
wrong with that.
well, yeah.
I mean, it hasn't been played to death. It's
Right.
still, I like it.
I like how they did that on the Unplugged thing. That was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bill.
Strut. One I don't like is Love Theme from Kiss.
Okay.
And my favorite track is Strutter.
Strata.
Good. All right.
Strutter.
I'm gonna keep with Bill. Love Theme from Kiss is my least favorite, and 100,000 Years is my most favorite.
Yeah, that's good too.
Wow.
It's a great song.
Yep.
Staple.
My least favorite track on there is probably also the Love Theme from Kiss. It's kind
Okay.
of, you're
It's different. It's
you're
different.
fighting with Love Theme from Kiss and Kissin' Time,
Yeah.
And my favorite track song on that album is Deuce.
Okay.
Cool.
Gotcha.
You had a lot to pick from.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Hotter Than Hell. Craig.
Least favorite, Strange Ways.
I can understand that.
I mean, but the rest,
No,
I like them all. Got to choose Parasite, Going Blind,
Yeah.
Hotter Than Hell. I mean, Watching You, Mainline, Coming Home. They're all great.
Bill.
Uh, song I didn't like was Strange Ways.
Yes.
And the song I did like was Parasite, and what catches me about that song is just the opening riff.
That's a
Yeah.
banger. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a banger. Okay, Mainline is my least favorite song on that album, and Parasite is my favorite, my the favorite song of Kiss. Paris, period, for every reason
Dennis,
there is.
why did you look over my shoulder?
What's that?
Least favorite, mainline. Favorite,
Oh,
Parasite.
there you go. Okay, yeah.
All right, Craig, Dress to Kill.
Uh,
Rock and Roll All Night for the obvious reasons.
right.
Just, I mean, that and Beth and a couple others. If I never hear it again, it's okay.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? So there's
Uh-huh.
nothing wrong with the song. It's just played out.
Right.
I like Room Service.
Good song.
I'm not going to say anything, but Craig copied off my paper. Tell the teacher.
Bill, what do you got?
My least favorite song is Rock and Roll All Night off that record because it just
Okay.
sounds horrible in my
Okay.
opinion.
Yeah.
You just hate it because it ain't got the guitar solo.
Yeah, that could be it, but I don't know. It just doesn't sound very good. I don't think that
Yeah.
song would have ever been anything had it not been off the Alive album.
I agree with
It
I
never
agree
made it
with you.
there. I don't
would
think
agree
anybody
with
ever
it
known
would not
about
be
it.
the anthem that it is today.
No, it would not be.
Yeah.
But my favorite song on that record is Parasite.
That's on the wrong album.
Oh, sorry, got the wrong album. Two timer. Sorry, I was
I
on the
had
wrong
my
know
one.
what-
fingers up because I knew which one it was.
I know what it is because I know who you. Rock and Roll All Night's my worst, least favorite, and Love Her All I Can for the bass line. The bass line is just a fucking awesome song.
I had
And
trouble with those
and
those
to talk
records.
about what you were talking about earlier, Cheap Trick, the original version of "I Want You to Want Me,"
Terrible.
if it is a horrible song, but like the live version is like a classic. You know, it's the same situation with Rock and Roll All Night.
There are
It's
3 Peter Frampton songs I feel the same way about.
there you go. Okay.
All right. Well, my favorite and least favorite matched with Craig on that one.
Okay. All
So
right.
that's twice we've matched tonight, Craig,
Yeah.
because we both had Dress to Kill at the same number.
Yeah.
We on now Destroyer. Yeah.
We
Sure.
are now on Destroyer.
Beth, probably least favorite, just because it played out. I mean, but there's so many: Detroit Rock City, King of the Nighttime World, God of Thunder, Shout It Out Loud. I mean, Do You Love Me?
Of course I
Great
do. You're my
songs.
best buddy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Gee, I don't know what Bill's answer is going to be here.
I know what Bill's answer is going to be.
Yeah, my least favorite song is Great Expectations. It just,
Right.
ugh. And then definitely my favorite is Do You Love Me?
Right. I'm going to agree with Bill on "Do You Love Me" as my favorite track. I think that "Rock and Roll Party," like I said earlier, is just a waste of track space. They could have put anything on there. They could
I
have
don't
somebody-
even include that Rock and Roll Party as part of
What
this
is that?
album.
I don't even know what that
It's-
is.
It's that
It-
noise
it-
after Shout It Out or after Do You Love Me?
It's not a song.
It's not a song.
It's crowd noise and stuff from Alive.
Oh yeah,
kinda,
but it's
and
not a song. You can't.
It's a track though. It's considered. It's
Get
called
outta
Rock and Roll
here.
Party. It is called Rock and Roll Party. Go on Spotify.
Yeah.
That's what I
Not-
consider.
well,
a
it might
track.
be on Spotify, but it's not on the record.
Well, then
that
if I
way.
had to pick a track, then a track, I would agree with Bill and say Great Expectations.
Well, of course you would. Okay,
that's a
that's
shitter
better.
too. So
Thank you very much.
But Rock and Roll Party, I consider it's there
I've never even heard it called that before. So there.
anyway.
Well, my least favorite, is Beth, even
Yeah.
though that was the song that got me into Kiss.
And it does suck. I mean,
Well, it's not that it sucks. It's
just
overplayed
played out. It's played
more
out.
than anything. And Flaming Youth is my favorite off of that album.
It's a good song.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's a
Yeah.
good
Good
song.
songs.
I agree.
I would like to have seen them ever do that one live.
Yeah. All right.
All right, Rock and Roll Over's next.
Okay. Least favorite, See You in My Dreams. And favorite, I Want You.
Bill.
Great, and that was great live, by the way. What you was
Yeah.
great live.
It is.
So we're doing rock and roll over, right?
Yeah.
Least favorite's Baby Driver. Oh. And favorite song is Making Love.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna agree with you halfway on that. My least favorite is actually a Hard Luck Woman. I think it's just another one that's just overplayed. Making Love is my number one on that one. Like that song. It's very they played that at the very end, didn't they? They played that in the last tour, didn't they? Or no, it's on one of the live albums that the last live album they put out.
I don't remember if they,
Soundboard albums.
Oh,
yeah.
from that Des Moines show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's off the Des Moines.
Hey,
Yeah,
rock and roll
it
over.
is. It's off that one. It was in yeah. Making Love was on the Des Moines, which I was like, oh my God, it was worth the whole album. Just
They
to get
did
that.
something at the last show. I mean, at the last show in Indy that was different. It might have been that.
Yeah, I was thinking that they added that toward
They
the
may
end
have
of
put
the
that.
end of the
That may
thing.
have
But
been in
anyway,
there.
I think it's a great song. I like that song. Anyway, great riff.
Rock and roll over it was really hard for me to find a song to pick as the least favorite. But I would have to probably go with Baby Driver, even though I really do like that song because I just like every song on that album.
Right.
And my favorite song, it's my all-time favorite Kiss song, is Calling Dr. Love, although I prefer the version off of Double Platinum.
Gotcha.
Okay.
All right, we're up to the Love Gun.
Love
Bang,
Gun.
bang.
Okay. Least favorite, Then She Kissed Me. Obviously, you guys are all going to say the same thing. I like Plaster Caster. I think
Good
that's
song.
a great song.
Good song. Good song.
I'm going to write a song about putting my wiener in some.
Cement. And cement pond.
Yeah. All right, Bill.
My favorite song on there is I Stole Your Love. And my least favorite song is Then She Kissed Me.
Well, I'm going to make it a triple threat here. Then She Kissed Me was my least favorite song, and I liked Almost Human on that song, on that album. I think Almost Human is great song. Alan.
Well, for least favorite, it is a quadrifecta,
It's a quadrifecta.
whatever that's called, because I'm going to go with Then She Kissed Me. Now, I will say, if that song wasn't on the album, I would probably pick Christine 16 just because it's so cringeworthy now.
Well, that overplayed too.
But
I
my
don't know how they
favorite,
even got by with that back then. I mean, even back
Yeah, no
then,
shit.
it still was illegal.
everybody wrote a song
It's just-
back then about a 16-year-old.
I know,
Yeah.
just weird. It's just,
But my favorite song off of Love Gun is I Stole Your Love.
Good song.
That should have been how Alive 2 started. But I digress. Dynasty's next.
Okay, favorite song. There's several.
Man.
I like Charisma. I think it's a great Gene song. Least favorite, Save Your Love.
Hey,
Wow.
guess what?
wow.
Wow.
Guess what? Craig and Alan have matched 3 times.
Wow. That's crazy. You guys are crazy talking.
Wow.
Bill.
What are we talking about? Dynasty, right?
Yeah.
I have favorite song is Sure Know Something, and least favorite song is Dirty Living.
Wow. Okay.
Have you heard the disco version of Dirty Living? There's a
Yes.
extended
Yeah.
dance mix.
Yeah.
It
I don't
doesn't
like
help
it
me.
either.
Well, for me, Ace is all over this because 2000 Man is my least favorite song.
Really?
And Save Your Love is actually my favorite song. And I'm giving a great honorable mention to Hard Times. Ace was all over this thing.
I liked
he was
Hard
good and
Times.
bad. Hard Times is a great song, but that lead in Save Your Love is just fucking awesome. It's
Yeah,
so different from what Ace plays. He actually had a bluesy kind of different sound to it. And if it was somebody else that came in and did it, it wouldn't surprise me because it's so off Ace. It's ridiculous.
Well, it's kind of funny because there's more Ace on this album than there is Gene.
Right.
Yes.
But Ace he ended up getting the best and the worst song on this album to me. So, he's all over the fucking place.
All right, we're up to Unmasked.
Okay,
Craig.
least favorite, She's So European.
Yes.
And I like Is That You? I think that's a great
That's
opener.
that is a good, that was almost my number one.
Yeah.
Almost.
All right, this is where I'm going to get myself in trouble,
All
probably.
right.
Uh-oh.
So my least favorite is Torpedo Girl.
Okay.
I would agree. It's bad.
Yeah. And my favorite is Shandy.
Nothing wrong with Shandy.
Yeah, it's a good song.
That's a good song.
What?
Actually, I was
Who are you
going
going
to
to get
go
in
that
trouble
way.
with, Lisa?
I don't know. You know,
Yeah.
some people are like, really?
Lisa's going to come running
But-
out of the back room and smack me.
But when they do that, when I've seen
You'd be
those
like,
videos and when they've done it and when they've done it live, I think it's pretty cool.
Oh, Shandy is a great song. I
Yeah,
think
Shandy
they
is a
should
good
have
song.
played it more in America.
Yeah, I
But,
wish they would have too.
yeah.
Okay,
Dennis.
for me, Torpedo Girl, it torpedoed out. It was fucking terrible. That song's fucking annoying as shit. Tomorrow is a really good song too. I remember listening to that when I first got the album, and it's when it clicked. But Is That You was really up there. It was close. I listened to the whole album today just to kind of like, and then I had kind of forgot about Tomorrow, and I'm like, oh shit, that's got to be the number one. So yeah, there you go. Good songs, bad songs.
Yep.
Well, for me, Ace is the winner and the loser because Torpedo Girl is a stinker in my opinion.
Yeah.
But Talk to Me is a
It is a good
diamond. It is a diamond on this album.
song. Okay.
All right, music from the Elder.
Oh, okay. Here
And
we
Bill,
go.
you can just say no comment if you want.
No, it's okay. It's I'm not
What's
gonna
the
shit
least?
all over it.
Bill would be the least shittiest song on the album. The shittiest
Okay.
and the least shittiest.
My least favorite is Just a Boy. I don't know.
I am just
like-
a boy.
Thank you.
I
Get
love
off
that.
my radio.
My,
Love
my
that.
favorite track on there is Dark Light.
That's a great song.
Match.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I do.
I do
All
like
right.
The World Without Heroes. I think it's a good. I think it's not a terrible song.
That's so funny. I have written down just a boy, and next it just says "Good God." No kidding. There, you can see it right there.
I see it.
Yeah.
Good guy.
And then I have Dark Light, and I have A World Without Heroes.
Yeah.
I thought
And
the
he's
World
got-
Without, I thought the World Without
is
Heroes
a great
was I thought the video was kind of cool,
right.
Yeah.
but the rest of it, yeah, okay.
You know, the Fridays, the 3 songs they done on Fridays is really good too. If you ever
Yeah,
get
but
a
I
chance
didn't
to
like
see
the
those
costumes.
No, it was the short hairs and the costumes were, it was different.
And
Gene
Gene looked like somebody they just went to him and stuck a bunch of crap on him and gave him some leather. And I'm
Well,
like,
but it wasn't much different than Dynasty. Same shit. I mean,
it was just
anyway,
weird.
Yeah, it took the
Weird
capes
shit.
away for them fuckers. Anyway, so
They were
my least
superheroes.
favorite is Dark Light. I cannot stand that song.
Really?
My
Really?
favorite one is Odyssey, and I like Odyssey just for the fact of Paul's trying to sing this Broadway kind of acapella. You know, had his voice. I like that shit. I serious. I was very, very, very impressed with that, and I love that song. I think the lyrics are cool in that song. It's kind of got this, this kind of I don't know what you're going to call it, Lord of the Rings kind of bullshit going on.
Like
I don't know,
Celtic.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's a great album. It's not a good Kiss album, but it's a great album. It is. I mean, it's just got
It's not the worst in their catalog.
no. But yeah, all right.
Really? It's not the worst?
I know,
No.
Bill.
No.
You don't live in Bill's world.
Wow.
Al,
What is worse than that?
favorite and least favorite?
My least favorite, and again, this is kind of like Rock and Roll Over. Pick your favorite kid.
Right.
My least favorite is the Odyssey, just because I had to pick
Wow.
something. And my favorite, much like Creatures of the Night, it opens up with just something that hits you in the face. The
Right.
oath.
That's good.
That just,
Good song.
yeah. It's like I'm galloping on a horse now. We're gonna go find this ship and we're gonna get on it.
Right.
All right, we're up to the final album of the night,
Creatures.
Creatures of the Night. Craig, what do you got?
Number 8.
Okay. If I never hear War Machine and I'll Live It Loud again,
Yes.
I'm fine.
Ding 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 ding.
Yes. Yes.
I do. My favorite probably is Rock and Roll Hell. That's probably my favorite track on there. But I still like Creatures. I think it's a good song. I like Danger. I kind of like I Still Love You. I think it's a great song.
His rendition of that on Animalized Live Uncensored is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bill.
Yep. So for Creatures, I have Saint and Sinners as my favorite
Good song.
for sure.
Great song.
Yep. And I still like War Machine. I think War Machine for me was like after after that other crappy record, Elder.
Right.
The War Machine was more Gene than
Right.
what I'd heard in the
Yeah,
from the previous
that's
record.
fair.
And the song that if I never hear again is fine is I Love It Loud.
Right. I'm going to follow right along with you. Love It Loud and War Machine, both of us can go take a shit. I really don't care.
They tied for negative.
But my favorite is I Still Love You. When Paul comes in, when he starts really fucking getting on it, it gives me a chill. I listened to it today and it gave me a fucking chill. And that stuff off the unplugged version of that, or the recording that I made in Indianapolis, on my own camera of him, 10 feet away singing that at that convention. Him doing that is just fucking. His voice at that point was unstoppable.
Yeah.
And it was. I remember them playing it at Robert Stadium at that first concert when I saw him with Vinny, and Vinny's last concert. But anyway, that even and live in that live situation, that's a fucking strong song. And like I said, it takes a while to get going, but once it does, when he gets in his register, I mean, it's fucking,
Yeah.
it's good. It's really good. So that's it for me.
All right. My least favorite song on Creatures of the Night is Keep Me Coming.
Oh,
And
that's not
unlike
that
you
song.
crazy bastards, War Machine is my favorite song on this album. And what's funny is it doesn't matter if I'm playing in my rock band or if I'm playing in my country band. When we're getting ready to do sound check and we're doing levels and everything,
Right.
I always play War Machine when I'm setting levels for my bass.
There you go.
I like
I
that
think
song. It's not a bad song.
Yeah, it's a fun song to play.
You
What'd
know,
you
we
say,
haven't
Craig?
done Go ahead, Greg.
I thought you were going to say when you did your sound check, you were doing I Love It Loud and turn the volume down.
Oh, that would be funny. Oh my gosh,
We haven't done a show in what, a month? And we
it's
went
been longer
we,
than a
and we went
month.
we go an hour and a half on. We need
I
to do
know.
more shows more often.
Do you think though the second set of 10 records will be harder
No.
to rank?
Well, it
Yeah,
probably will be
'cause you
because I
can't-
don't
you
like a
can-
lot of them.
Well,
Three
You know-
albums that tie for 10.
that brings a point. You guys are 5 and 6 years older than Craig and I.
Right.
Yeah.
So that will be interesting to see how those go because I know how much Craig and I listened to all of those non-makeup albums in high
A
school.
lot.
Yeah,
Mine
I
would-
like the
Yeah.
non-makeup stuff. Yeah. It
Yeah.
wasn't bad.
See, I checked out at that point.
Yeah, you left.
I'm not
You went
done.
away.
So
Traitor.
anyway, folks,
Oh, by the way,
Craig,
are we getting ready to leave?
yeah,
Well,
By
let
the
me
way,
say
what?
something before we leave.
you
I'm
heard
going to
it.
go see Billy Joel
Click.
and Sting this coming Saturday.
Stinks.
Sting. I'm really looking forward to it too.
All right.
So
All
I'm
right.
finally
Well,
going to see a show.
Craig, thanks for coming on. I don't know when we're going to do it, but we're probably going to do the 10 non-makeup or the 10 next up, whatever Craig decides we're going to do
Sure.
for those ranking those albums. Hey, this was your idea, buddy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Stick with it, pal.
It's your bitch
No
now.
backing out. Yeah.
But
Then we'll
at
have
some
to do the
point in the
solo
next
records.
couple of months, we'll do another episode with Craig, and we'll do
I dig
the
it.
non-makeup
I dig this
albums
too.
and stuff.
Yeah,
Visit
yeah.
us on agesofrock.com. Check out past episodes and social media links. And until next time, peace out. Thanks for listening to the Ages of Rock podcast. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and most importantly, tell all your friends. Remember, You're never too old to rock. Until the next episode, peace out, folks.